Hello everyone. In today's TestNG video, we are going to cover TestNG keyword, depends on method, and the groups. And the second point we are going to cover problem statement, when to use priority keyword and when to use depends on method keyword. The third topic we will cover TestNG XML creation and group stack execution. So let's start from the depends on method keyword. So let me open the Eclipse and you can see the laptop flow test case we already written. So let's discuss about this class laptop flow where we have written an end-to-end flow. Our first method is sign up. So first the user will do the sign up and create the valid credential. The second method is login method. Once the credential is created in first test method, then the user will use the already created credential for login in the second test method. After login, user will do select laptop category, and the next method is add to category, then fill shipping details, make payment, finally order tracking. At the end is review and rating. So just discuss the problem statement. Let's say in sign up, once we are entering our user details and somehow our test case is not able to create the user credential. So in that case, credential is not created. Then in step 2, the login, where we have written a test step to log in with the same credential which has created in the sign up method. So basically login is dependent on sign up test steps where it's looking for some credential that it's going to use in login. So what happens if the test 1, the sign up is not able to create a valid username and password? So in that case, the login will fail. So in ideal scenario, the login is completely dependent on sign up. So in that case, we will use depends on method keyword, depends on method keyword that will take care of dependency. Let's say login should execute once the sign up method is successfully executed, which means the credential is created. Now the login method will use that credential. So in that case, it's tightly coupled on the first method, totally depend on the first method. So in that case, we will use depends on method keyword. And this depends on method, basically login depends on which method? The sign up method. So copy this method name and put it here, and it should be in curly braces. So that is how we use a depends on method. Same way, let's say if login is not happening successfully, then there is no point of selecting laptop category for shopping. So in that case, this method is depends on login method. So we need to put a login method, which is the actual name is login. So put it here. So now select laptop category will execute once the login method successfully execute, and login method will execute first once the sign up method executes successfully. So that's why the sign up is first method. Then in sign up method, no need to use depends on keyword because that is the starting point of the test method. So rest of the method depends on sign up, but sign up is independent. It's not depends on anyone. So that's why we did not use depends on method at sign up level. So now same way, add to cart is dependent on select laptop category. So depends on method, curly braces, and put select laptop category. So that is how all the method depends on each other. So I'm copying this statement, putting it here. Now fill shipping shipping detail method depends on add to cart. Once the add to cart done, then only fill shipping detail method should execute. So I made it dependent on add to cart. Now payment method should execute once the fill shipping detail method successfully executed. So ideally, make payment method should be dependent on fill shipping detail. So that's That is how we put everywhere. So now order tracking depends on make payment, and same way review and rating depends on order tracking. So now in that case, you can see every method depends on its previous method. So these are tightly coupled flows in which we know each step should execute or each test method should execute right after execution of previous method successfully. So that is the real use of depends on method. Now let me execute the test flow. Now it started executing. So now result is there. So sign up executed first, then login, then select mobile category, adding HP laptop to cart, fill address, then make payment, tracking the order status. After successful delivery of product, give reviews and rating. So here you can see TestNG by default did not execute the test flow in alphabetical order. It executed in which we have mentioned our login depends on sign up. So it executed sign up first, then login. And same way, category depends on login. So it's wait until the login get executed. So that is how depends on work. Now the main advantage of depends on is every method is tightly coupled on each other. So let's say, for instance, sign up test case get failed, then rest of the method should not execute because there is no point of executing rest of the method because your sign up is not get successfully executed, then login going to fail and the rest of the test case also going to fail. So in that case, let's say we generate some situation. So I'm deliberately throwing an exception here. So by doing this, now our first test method will get failed and our login method depends on sign up. So this one will get escape. Listen again, this one get skip, not to execute. So this method will not execute, it will get skip. So that's the beauty of depends on method keyword. So now let me execute run as TestNG. So now you can see 8 test case run, but 0 pass, 1 fail, 7 escape, which means nothing is passed. Why? Because your first method get failed, then rest of the method depends on method keyword is skipped because depends on knows that method should execute once the sign up get passed because it's tightly coupled and depends on sign up test steps. So in such a scenario where the flow is tightly coupled to each other test method step, then in that case we should use depends on method. So now here it shows this exception occurs. So if we comment this exception again and execute the flow, so now you can see 8 executed, 8 pass, 0 fail, 0 escape. So that is the very handy keyword in TestNG. So now let's move to the next keyword is groups. So we are going to create a group. So what groups is all about? The grouping of class or method like sanity, E2E, and regression, etc. Which means, let's say manual team given you the test case list where you have to automate the priority one test case. So though in those priority one, few are belongs to sanity, few belongs to smokes, few belongs to end-to-end flow, and all of the part of regression. So let's say we have 100 test case of an application where 10 belongs to sanity, 10 belongs to end-to-end, 10 belongs to sign up. So these are the label that we put for a test case. So same way we need to put or grouping the test case of similar type. So how we can achieve this? Let's say sign up is a part of sanity. So in that case use groups where you can mention as many as label. Let's say this is a part of Sanity and also the part of regression, and also the part of E2E flow, end-to-end flow. So now we label this test case in a different grouping. So you can write as many as group you can, because it's a user defined, it's not a TestNG defined. So you can mention, let's say, sign up comma double quote sign up. So I'm using these three. So here comma separated, add this one. Now same label I will put in this test method. So these are the all these three methods are part of Sanity, regression, and E2E. This one is also Sanity, regression, E2E, Sanity, regression, E2E. Now the add to cart, let's say for example, it's not a part of Sanity. So we will remove Sanity and let it be regression and E2E. So same way, rest of the test case is a part of regression and E2E. So basically we are labeling all the test method which belongs to respective groups. So that is how we use a groups keyword of TestNG. So it's done. So same way we need to grouping other test flow as well. So in mobile flow, let's open it, and we put this sign up also a part of some grouping. So I'm adding this one. Let's say this is a part of regression and end-to-end. The rest one is also regression and end-to-end. You can add a sanity if you want, or if you want a specific sign up, you can add. So I am adding this to every test method. So now it has added. So keep doing on each method. Let's say manual team given you the test case list where you have to automate the priority one test case. So though in those priority one, few are belongs to sanity, few belongs to smokes, few belongs to end-to-end flow, and all of the part of regression. So let's say we have 100 test case of an application where 10 belongs to sanity, 10 belongs to end-to-end, 10 belongs to sign up. So these are the label that we put for a test case. So same way we need to put or grouping the test case of similar type. So how we can achieve this? Let's say sign up is a part of sanity. So in that case, use groups where you can mention as many as label. Let's say this is a part of sanity and also the part of regression, and also the part of E2E flow, end-to-end flow. So now we label this test case in a different grouping. So you can write as many as group you can, because it's a user defined, it's not a TestNG defined. So you can mention, let's say, sign up comma double quote sign up. So I'm using these three. So here comma separated, add this one. Now same label I will put in this test method. So these are the all these three methods are part of sanity, regression, and E2E. This one is also sanity, regression, E2E, sanity, regression, E2E. Now the add to cart, let's say for example, it's not a part of sanity. So we will remove sanity and let it be regression and E2E. So same way, rest of the test case is a part of regression and E2E. So basically we are labeling all the test method which belongs to respective groups. So that is how we use a groups keyword of TestNG. So it's done. So same way we need to grouping other test flow as well. So in mobile flow, let's open it, and we put this sign up also a part of some grouping. So I'm adding this one. Let's say this is a part of regression and end-to-end. The rest one is also regression and end-to-end. You can add a sanity if you want, or if you want a specific sign up, you can add. So I'm adding this to every test method. So now it has added. So keep doing on each method. This enabled and putting the group here. So now you can see I labeled each method. So now you can see every method is labeled with regression and E2E. So basically I grouped every method in two different grouping, regression and E2E. So let's say tomorrow my manager comes to me and say, we want to execute a end-to-end flow only. Not all the test case, only end-to-end. So in that case, if I'm not marking it or labeling it in groups, then I cannot do that thing. I cannot execute end-to-end. So basically, each method you have to mark or label using a groups keyword. Let's say end-to-end, regression, sanity, sign up. So you by using a group, you can achieve that goal. So in a group, we can achieve that goal of segregating each types of common test case in a separate groups. So that is how we use groups keyword. Now, suppose I want to execute E2E, then how I can execute? So that answer lies in our third step, TestNG XML creation and group tag execution. So let's create a TestNG XML and execute our groups that we have created in the class. So now we have tagged both the class and add some label to it. So now, right now what we are doing, we are executing each class individually. Right click, run as TestNG. So it has executed. Same way, if I want to execute a laptop flow, then I need to click on this, right click, run as TestNG. So that is not the right way. Suppose I want to execute whole suite. So basically I want to execute all the classes in this project. So how I can do this? So using TestNG, we can easily achieve this. So right click on the project, go to the second last option, TestNG, where you need to click on convert to TestNG. Once you click on the convert to a TestNG option, now it's showing it's going to create a testng.xml by default for you under your project name. And first, let's create the XML, then we will discuss each element of the TestNG XML. So click finish. So now you can see testng.xml generated. So double click on this. So now it has opened. So now you can see testng.xml file created. Just click on it. So you can see and there are a lot of XML format. So ignore these two. This is simply saying it's a XML file and having some format. So now let's move to first tag is a suite. So any class that you have created in your project should be comes under this suite tag. So inside suite there is a lot of mini suite. So this test tag is nothing but a mini suite. So in that case we can create n number of mini suite within the suite. Let's say if I copy this one, so this is another suite within the main suite. So these are the sub suite inside the suite. So so I'm removing this. So don't get confused. So now you can see inside test tag, the mini suite, there is a classes. So we have to mention all the classes that we have created in our project inside classes tag. So inside classes, there is a class. So in class, there is a name parameter in which we have to mention your class name with package detail. So now our package name is, let's say, com.testing.signup.signup, which is this one, and the rest two classes is com.amazon.e2e.mobileflow. So let's say in future you have added another test flow in which we have, let's say, create a new class shoe flow. So that is your new class in which, let's say, you have written all your test methods. So I am copying the same test flow into the new file. Now your new flow, let's say, created. So to execute this shoe flow, you need to put an entry in the TestNG XML as well, so that every class execute in a single run. So now what you need to do, create another tag called class, this one. So you can see it's automatically came. Now put the package name and the class name. So our new class is shoe flow and the package is com.amazon.e2e. So let's say com.amazon.e2e is our package name and the flow name is shoe flow. So now we have created a new entry into it. So that is how we add our classes in our TestNG XML. So using this one, we can execute all the tests. Using this XML, we can execute all the class that we have created under my project. So now let's execute. Right click, run as TestNG suite. So this time it will give you the suite option. So now suite is executing. So now you can see all the test method in each class is executed. Click on console. Here you can see we have total 25 test cases executed and 23 passed, 2 failed, 0 escape. So that is the advantage of using TestNG XML to execute all the test class at a single point. And please make sure your class entry should be under the classes tag. It should not, please do not put outside of the classes. Otherwise, this is the wrong formatting. So don't do this. These class that you want to include in the suite, please keep it under the classes tag. So that is the right way of adding the class in the TestNG XML. So now let's move to our initial problem statement. Let's say we have grouped all the test method in a sanity regression E2E. So now, as you know, we have only 3 sanity test case in our suite that we clubbed together. So let's say my manager comes to me and say, you can execute a sanity test. Only manager comes to you and say, could you execute sanity test case in your framework? I said, yes, I can. So that is how we can execute only sanity. So go back to TestNG XML. Inside test tag, here, press enter. The tag, which tag? Groups, because we need to execute the group. Enter. Another tag inside the group is run, because we are going to run those labeled test case. So inside run, there is another called include and exclude. So I want to include name is equal to what? Sanity. So I already copied, pasted here. So now if I right click and run as TestNG suite, so it will execute only sanity test case. See, it only picks only 3 test case which we marked sanity. Here you can see in this class we did not mention any sanity, but in laptop flow there are 3 sanity tagged method, sanity 1, 2 and 3. So in the result it's only picked sanity. So same way requirement comes, we need to execute the regression test case. So only I need to pass the regression keyword in the XML under groups tag here and save. Right click, run as TestNG suite. So it will pick only the regression labeled test case. So in our case, we put a regression on each test method except one in the sign up class. So now you can see we have total 25 test method and which is executed, 24 passed, one failed. So same way, we want to exclude few test case or few tag. So in our sign up method, let's say we have mentioned regression and smoke. So I don't want to execute a smoke tagged test case. So I don't want to execute the test case which is tagged with smoke. So how I can exclude from the regression, although you can see it also tagged with regression. So click on TestNG XML. Here, as we included regression, same way we need to exclude smoke. So what it will do, it will do it will exclude the smoke. It will do it will exclude the smoke uh, tag groups and only include the regression. So as we see, it has both regression and smoke. So it will exclude this method, and in rest of the method where the regression is tagged, it will exclude. So I'm saving it, and our previous run shows we have 25 method, but now this time it will only consider 24 method for execution. So let's start run as TestNG suite. See, this time it has taken only 24 test method and one excluded from the execution. So So now you know why we use TestNG XML. That is the right way to execute all the test case in your project. So enter all the test case detail under the class and you can execute all the test case. And you can also manage your test case by using a grouping of your test case like regression, sanity, smoke, and you can control those execution using include and exclude tag in the XML. So now let's move to our problem statement. So as we mention it here, problem statement, when to use priority or depends on method keyword. So, so in that case, priority is should be used when order of execution need to be preserved. Basically, we want to execute in a particular order and it is not tightly coupled, which means it is not tightly coupled with the previous test method. Like we saw in depends on method where login should happen once the sign up is successfully executed. So that is tightly coupled. But here in priority, we use priority where our flow should not be tightly coupled. So now let's move to the depends on method where we should use depends on compared to priority should be used when subsequent method tightly coupled with each other, like our end-to-end flow of e-commerce that we discussed in our program. That is the right flow where we should use depends on method. So thank you guys to everyone for watching this video. If you like this video, please click on like button and do subscribe this channel.